Hi, I'm Christopher Dunnigan. This is HandmadeInVermont.com, and today we're talking about the Hubbardton Forged Brutus pendant. This is going to be the larger of the two sizes. This is the 401311. So this is the one that's going to be 63 inches long. The smaller one on this is coming in at 43.2. So check that out too. It's good for you to know the difference between those two and if they're going to work for your needs. Let's get into the actual size of the fixture independent of what it's going to be hanging from. 10.1 inches tall, 63 inches left to right. Depth is coming in at 15.3. So the overall height, that's the distance from the bottom of the fixture to the actual ceiling itself, is going to give you a pretty good range. And this could be a semi-flush if you wanted it to be, because it starts at 13.8. And then as standard product, it can go to 55.8. And if you need longer than 55.8, we do custom lengths. So you would email me and you would say you're looking at a 401311, and you would tell me the solid number of what you're looking for. It could be 106, it could be 206. We can do almost, well, easily to a second story, and we do it all the time. It adds a little time and money, but we do customs every day, so it's not a big deal. There's also a couple other cool things about this. So there's a matching sconce. You should check that out. That goes with this, which I think is rather beautiful. So brutalism, well, actually Brutus is kind of a wink and a nod toward a movement called brutalism in architecture and design. And that kind of happened after World War II, when a lot of Europe and England were flattened by the war, basically. So they had to rebuild. And when they rebuilt, they wanted to start looking at new ways that weren't so fussy as Victorian times. So they wanted to kind of talk about the structure of the building and celebrate that, which kind of turns into sculpture at the end of the day. And that's what I think this is, really a piece of sculpture that's hanging from the ceiling that provides a lot of light. So that movement, that brutalism movement, kind of moved into architecture, it moved into lighting, it moved into furniture. You can see it in the United States all over the place. If you go to Boston, the Boston City Hall is a brutalist building, so check that out. And it's moved into lighting, and here we are. So there you go. So talk about canopy up in the ceiling, 31.3 by 4.8. And I want to show you more information about that. And how we're going to do it is we're going to look at the installations instructions really quick. So if you're on the page for this on Handmade in Vermont, look over on that side of the screen, midway down, you're going to see a link. It's going to say click here for installations instructions PDF. So open it up for me. It's going to show you a full parts list of all the parts that are going to come with this, but it's also going to show you some really good line drawings, and that's going to be of that canopy that's going to go on the ceiling. This is coming in at 58.3 pounds, so talk to your installer about that. There's places on that canopy to install it on your ceiling. But lots of drawings, like I said. Also, you're going to notice on that page is going to be a chart. That chart is going to have a whole bunch of numbers, and those are overall heights that you can attain from using different combinations of these pipes we'll talk about in just a second. So you'll notice it starts off, like I said, at 13.8 and goes to the 55.8. Again, customs if you need it. But that's all there for you to look at. And it's actually should be on the page for this too. You don't even need to go to the install sheets to do that. Okay, moving on. Why don't we talk about how these work and how do you put it together? So you're going to notice when you're looking at the install sheet, you're basically going to take probably a long table, put a blanket down, put the part that has the sockets down on one end, and then you're going to basically figure out which of these you're going to need for your overall height needs. You're going to put those little parts down in a row, and you're going to take those wires and you're going to send them through those little parts one by one. So through a part, through a connector, through a pipe, through a connector, through a pipe, and then when you're done, you're just going to screw them together. They screw together very beautifully because the milling and the engineering from Hubbardton Forge is top notch, so you can barely even see a line and you're good to go. Okay, so this is slope ceiling adaptable in one direction as standard product, and that's along the slope and not down the slope. When we go down the slope, we do customs. If you're not sure what you have going on with your slope ceiling, a good idea would be to send me images of the whole project so we can determine what your needs are. Moving on, yeah, a little other thing, so this is going to ship with 20 feet of wire. So as far as the customs go, we can kind of get in a little under that. So we can easily get to 19 feet by just ordering additional pipe kits, and these come as kits. So they come 112, 1.6, and 1.3, and we can determine how many you need. If you have to go like seriously big, like up to a second story beyond that 19 feet, then that's where we would go custom on this. But this is a newer fixture, and it's pretty easy to go really high as far as that goes. Moving on, why don't we talk about what's going on as lighting goes on this. So it's going to be using candelabra sockets. Those are the smaller sockets. We all are used to them. There's all kinds of bulbs you can use in this. So if you want to go with incandescent, you can stay with 60 watt max incandescent for each of these. And don't forget, you've got 6 on here. So take advantage of that too. But I think you probably want to do LEDs, as I would do. And there's all kinds of LEDs you can put into this too. So there's flame tip LEDs, there's torpedo LEDs. Just remember the base on it is going to be the smaller chandelier. And there's something called, I think it's 15.8 or E15.8, something like that. Email me about the little ball versions of this because of the LEDs, because you can use those too. And all of those LEDs come frosted and they come clear. If you want to go LED, the ones that are flame tip and they're kind of a torpedo shape are generally available everywhere. So my hardware store, my grocery store, Lowe's, Home Depot, Amazon, all of those places, Walmart. And those generally are going to be available 40 watt equivalent LED, 60 watt equivalent LED, and I think that's really all you need. But if you need a super amount of light to come out of this, I found those bulbs at a 75 watt equivalent out there, LED. So, you know, go to town. It's really up to you. But remember, you've got 6 of these sockets, and this is going to throw a tremendous amount of light. Also, I talk about all the time the color of the light coming out of those LEDs, 2700 Kelvin. They're going to offer that to you, and that's super yellow. They're going to offer to you something called daylight, which sounds like it should be like a warm sunlight, but it's not. That's that bluish white light. That's going to be 4,000, 5,000 Kelvin on the Kelvin scale. What we like to use in our showroom is warm white, soft white, and that's the light that's coming down on me from these LEDs above. This is 3,000 Kelvin, just so you know. It's also a dimmable fixture. Because you've got 6 of these sockets, it's super important to do 2 things. So make sure the bulbs say dimmable on them and talk to your installer about that so they put the right dimmer on the wall for you. Let's get into metal finishes now. If you are on the HandmadeInVermont.com website, look over in the red tabs with the pictures in them over there. You're going to see a Finishes Help Guide tab. Open that up for me. It's going to be a video there of me talking to you guys about the differences in Hubbardton Forge finishes, how they can look on different types of forging. I'm going to be referencing a chart just down below. So scroll down a little bit. You're going to see a chart. You can click on that chart. So you can click on dark smoke. You can click on soft gold. Doesn't matter. Big page will pop up showing you lots of different things in that finish. You can go back to the chart and you'll notice there's letters A's on them, letter B's on some of those things, and that's going to be showing you this range of variants that you can expect to see on different translucent finishes, but I'll talk about all of that in the video, okay? Okay, showroom. Our showroom in Vermont has over 400 Hubbardton Forge fixtures. This is the biggest showroom in the world of Hubbardton Forge. No other showroom is like this. Hubbardton Forge doesn't even have their own showroom. They use this one. What's on display? We have a great tab on that. In those same red tabs, you're going to see a What's on Display page. So open that up. It's going to show you everything we have on display, and including which finish, which shade, all of those things, and what kind of glass it's on there. We're open every day except Sunday, 11 to 6. I'm here every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have an amazing clearance center. Clearance center stuff is 75% off MSRP. It's returns, discontinued stuff, showroom samples. You have to come here to use it. Can't call us or email us about it, but it's definitely worth coming in to look at if you're in Vermont. Plus you want to use the showroom anyway because there's just so much great stuff here to see. Our number in Vermont, 802-446-2400. You can email us 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Love to answer emails, and it's sales@HandmadeInVermont.com. So when you order from HandmadeInVermont.com, shipping is going to be free to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. No tax if we ship out of the state of Vermont. And we're the only dealer with 90-day returns, no restocking fee. Nobody else does that. Some larger items are going to be non-returnable. It's going to be really important that you are looking at the fixture on that page and kind of scroll down under the description. It'll tell you if that is the case. And that's usually for really big, giant, huge fixtures, mostly that go out on pallets. Okay, that's it. Rush program. Let's talk about that. So rush program, Hubbardton Forge generally takes about 3 to 4 weeks to go out the door. That's production time before your transit time. You always have to add that on too. We offer a rush program that takes you from that 3 to 4 weeks down to a little under 2 weeks. It's a very small addition per line item. So if you have like 1, 2, 3 items, like let's say 3 or 4 outdoor sconces, and they're all the same size and they're all the same finish, that's one line item. So it's very inexpensive to rush those kind of things. Don't be afraid to email us and ask about that. Okay, so that's really it. If you guys have any other questions, let us know. We would love to see you in our showroom sometime. And thanks for stopping in.